Hello, good morning and ahoy there. I've booked myself into a 5-star hotel. So no walking today. I'm not walking this morning. I've walked already, but it was on a walking machine downstairs because I've decided to book myself into a hotel just for a little treat. No reason at all. I just fancied it. I've had a bit of a week of it this week. Been very busy. So I just thought as a little treat, I saw a special offer on a 5-star hotel here in Delhi. It's in North Delhi. And I'll tell you the price in a bit, but I'll show you my room first. And this is a 5-star hotel, and look at the view out of my window. Have a look at this. So I'm on the 11th floor, and you can see all the way over Delhi. I live down in that direction down there somewhere behind those buildings, about a 45-minute drive down in that direction. But the view from up here is, I mean, I'm higher than the birds that are flying. You get the hawks flying around here. I've been having quite a good look at them. And I get a good view of this office building opposite, which interestingly, there's a bloke living on the roof. To prove me a liar, he's disappeared now, but there was a man this morning walking around in his underpants opposite there, and there's a little sink just over there, and he got up and he had a full wash in his pants, and he lives in that little sort of white hut thing there. I think he's like the maintenance man. And then he was pottering about fixing all those air conditioning units. So unless he's just doing a very late shift, I think he lives in there. I mean, that's dedication, isn't it? But yeah, I decided, well, it's been a busy week, and I've booked myself in here. And it's nice, you wake up in the morning and look about, and it's like a little train set setting up, isn't it? All the little trains and the cars going about, and the people milling around, and everyone's busy. It's nice. It's really nice. It's very peaceful place, and it's a lovely hotel. It's really nice. It reminds me a lot of the Intercontinental Hotel in London, which I've been to a few times. It reminds me of that, which is also a 5-star, but this kind of has the edge on that because this has got a pool, and to the best of my knowledge, the Intercon hasn't. And the pool here is really nice. And I went down for breakfast this morning. Breakfast was excellent. Really nice. I'm as full as an egg, as they say. And I did the test that I always do on restaurant buffets, where I see, would Elvis Presley be able to make his favourite sandwich here? And he would. And his favourite sandwich being a deep fried peanut butter, bacon and banana sandwich. And I had a look about, and all those constituent ingredients were available. And I'm pretty sure if I'd have took them up to the chef and said, "Hey man, could you deep fry these for me please?" I think he'd probably have thrown me out with security, or I think they'd have done it. There's the man. I'll show you the dude here, look. So he's milling about across the roof there. And he's just gone into his little hut. You probably didn't see any of that, and I don't know why I'm so fascinated with him, but I am. I see this guy milling about on the roof, and I'm like, he lives there. So yeah, the food here is excellent. I went to the gym, and I did my steps on there, because it's really hot out at the moment. It's like walking around inside a kettle. It's like it's a weird time of the year, because it's often hot here, but it's the monsoon season too, so there's a lot of moisture in the air, and it does have the same sort of feeling as I'd imagine walking around inside a recently boiled kettle. So it's just wet air, hot, wet air. I don't like it very much. I love to walk, but man, that's difficult. So I walk around in that. You have to do it super early, and what's the time now? It's late for me. It's 10:10. So yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not putting you through that. Watching me walk around going, oh. So I'm not doing that. I've decided to stay in, do my steps on the walking machine, and then just show you around my room a little bit. But yeah, have a look at this. It's nice, isn't it? It's, as I say, it's 5-star, which in the UK I probably wouldn't do on a whim, just for the sake of having had a busy week and fancying a little treat. And I'll show you down the little, here's a little hallway bit. Got a little cupboard here. They hide the kettle. They're ashamed of the kettle, so that gets hidden in there. And there's your fridge. I don't know why they've done that. Just a shelf would have been sufficient. And you get your wardrobe. And inside there, slippers, which I'm never going to touch because they're never going to be my size. They're always, I think, like a size 9 or something for normal sized people, and I'm not. And here's something I've never seen before. There's a little cupboard here, and look at this. Inside here, there's a set of bathroom scales that you can weigh yourself on. Let's see what I'm coming in at. Let's see, the tail of the tape is 109.4. I don't know what that is in real money. What's that, about 17 stone? About 17 stone something, I think. I'll be generous to myself. You know, I used to be 22 stone. Back in me terrible days, I was 22 stone. I remember I walked into Next, the clothing store, and I said, "You got any of these shirts in my neck size?" I think my neck size was something like 22 inches. I said, "You got any of these in a 22-inch neck size?" And the guy went, "No." And he was horrified. And I said, "What about these ones?" And I picked up another one. And he said, "We put nothing for people like you in here." And I was so ashamed of myself. I just walked off. I was like, "Oh, okay, cheers." And then he shouted out, "Why don't you go to High and Mighty?" I was like, "What, the freaks shop?" I don't even know if High and Mighty exists anymore, but I wouldn't go there on principle. I'm not going to High and Mighty. I'd rather get me clothes made. And I didn't, and I just made it. He kind of helped me, that guy, because I thought, I've got to slim up. And I did. I'm down to about 17 stone now, and I can buy normal clothes in normal shops. So, and now I don't. I just walk around in these sort of t-shirts all the time. So here's the bathroom. Let's show you around in here. Oh, the floor's really wet actually, so I'm probably going to fall over. I just had a shower. I'm not frightfully good at this sort of thing. I don't understand this really. You've got like a shower cubicle in there and a toilet cubicle there, right? So what's the point in this glass divider between the two? Because surely a divider between a toilet and a shower would be for privacy. So what's the point in a completely transparent divider? It's fine if you're on your own in here, but if you were sharing this with somebody and you're having a shower and they decide, "Oh, I really need to go to the toilet," well, what's the point in the divider? They should have put a frosted one there. I know it's not that much privacy, but it's a bit, isn't it? A bit of privacy. If you're in, and the other one's being like Kenneth Williams and banging on the glass, going, "Oh, what's going on in here?" Yeah, they're not going to like that. Oh, well, no one would do that. Anyway, I would do that. But no, or they could do that thing from the shower which steams off, and they could make two amusing little circles and stick their eyes through them. Very funny. Everybody likes that joke. But just put a bit of frosted one in the middle. I don't see why they haven't done that. But they haven't. It's not my business. And there's the sink. Yeah, it's not. I'm moaning about something that's absolutely ridiculous. And so yeah, that's the room. The hotel's really nice, and I'll tell you how much I've spent coming here, and you won't believe it. Sit down. It's cost in like British money, £60 for one night, but that includes dinner and breakfast. And the dinner was amazing. It was absolutely delicious, and the breakfast is like a free for all. You just go down there and there's like a buffet thing set up. I was the first one down there. And it was absolutely delicious. You've got like your Western selections in there. That's where I checked if Elvis would make his sandwich, which he could. Oh, it's so hot in it. So yeah, there's that. And then there's all the Indian breakfast, which I really like. There's a dish called poha that's really popular for breakfast. It's one of my favourite breakfasts. It looks like yellow rice with usually bits of pomegranate in it, bits of mint and peanuts. If you get a chance to try it, do. It's absolutely delicious. And they've got the idlis and the things you dip in. Idlis are like a white disc. You probably know this, like a white fluffy disc, and you dip them in these like of a dal dips. Really nice. And the first time I saw it, I thought, why is this a breakfast food? What's the difference? But it is a breakfast food, and they're really nice. So yeah, it's good value. I would recommend coming in here. It's North Delhi, Rahini, the place is called, and the hotel is the IHC Hotel in North Delhi, Rahini. Really worth it. Really, for a nice little break, just breaks your week up. I dare say, you could stay here for longer. If you wanted to do a week or so here, if you were staying in Delhi and wanted to use this as your base, you certainly could. I mean, it's got all the workstations set up, a nice little desk, working space there. So yeah, I would recommend these hotels. There's a few of them dotted around Delhi, and this is as good as any of them. So I say it's been a bit of a week this week. Been really busy. I work in an office, as I've told you before, and I'm on a 3-year contract, and it's coming to an end. I've got about 6 months left to go of it, and I love it here. I really like being in India. I like the way of life. I like the people. I just like it. I like India, and I had the option to apply to do another 3 years. And obviously the instant thing is to say, yeah, well, you like it, you like where you are, why not? And I've said no, I'm not going to apply to do it because, for one, I want to retire, and I can. So I think if you can, do. And the other thing that made me think is, if something's really good and you're really enjoying it and life's great and it's all wonderful, you can fall into a bit of a trap with that, thinking, well, this is permanent. This is me. This is how it's going to be forever. And it ain't necessarily so, as the song goes. I used to, around 2012, I was working in private security. It wasn't as exciting as that sounds, but I was doing a lot of celebrity stuff. I was a bit spoiled, to be honest with you. I spent most of my time working in the West End of London, which is how I know about the hotels there, not because I've stayed in them, because I've worked in them. And I've seen with my own eyes the effect of thinking things are going to last forever. And I won't name him, but there was a member of a boy band that was performing in a show in the West End. And I had very little to do with him. I wasn't working for him, I had nothing to do with him. But he was in the show. And the person I was working for was the star of the show. And every night I used to take her out into the autograph pit that I had to set up. And I'd set this pit up. And she was lovely. She was absolutely lovely. And she couldn't have spent more time with the fans out there. And they loved her. And she'd walk around and she'd sign all the autographs to the point that you'd think, good grief, like this is beyond the pale. Like, I'm talking like 45 minutes with one person. Like chit chat. And a real personal connection with them. And I had no, it's just my job. So I just walk around behind her. To be honest, I was redundant. There was no point me being there. No one was going to attack her. And if they did, I think she'd have defended herself quite effectively. So there was no real need for it. But this other guy was in the show. And as I say, he was an ex-boy band member. Nothing to do with me. And one day the manager of the show came up and said, we'd like you to start taking him around the autograph pit as well. So I said, well, I'm not really comfortable with that. I'm not really paid by him. And no, he's not asked me to do it. So I said no, just for the point of it, really. So they came back a little while later and said, look, could you do it, please? And I was like, oh, why? Why do I have to do that? I'm doing it with her, it's fine. And they said, he really, really needs this. And I said, oh, okay, why? And they said his mental health is like in tatters because he's no longer in a boy band. And when he was in the boy band, he was idolised. Like everywhere he went, people were going nuts for him. He had autograph hunters everywhere. The whole thing that you'd imagine with a boy band. He had it. And it stopped. It stopped overnight. And he thought he was going to be it was just going to go on and on and on. And he thought this was it forever. He was going to be the big thing. And there's no reason he shouldn't have been. Very talented. There's a boy band thing. It's not my thing, but... And it didn't. It just didn't happen, and it stopped. And it destroyed him. It absolutely crushed him. And I saw him in a completely different light, because he's super good looking, and he's confident, and he's like, hey, he's the man. And behind that, he was in tatters. He was in absolute shreds. And they said he can't cope. And they said every night he's seeing this autograph pit, and he's seeing this person go out there and signing all these autographs and hearing all the woo, 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 woo. And it's almost giving him like flashbacks. And they said he's really, really struggling. So would you do it? And of course, as a human being, you're not going to say, well, no, I'm not being paid to do that. So, no. So I said, yeah, of course I will, yeah. And I did it. And I never built up a relationship with him. It literally existed in that realm. It was literally, he came out and he was very nice to the people. He'd run in and jump about and sign the autographs, and he was super happy. And then he'd go back inside again. But I learned something from that. that nothing, well, some things do last forever, but don't take things for granted. Don't think that this is great, this is me, I've earned this, I've got, there's a sort of a sense of entitlement. Look what I've done, look what I've got, this is wonderful, this is me, this is forever. And I don't want that here. I don't want this to be a thing where I'm like, because I'll be honest with you, I live really well here. I live very, very comfortably. I've got a nice flat. It's easy. It's a nice way of life. And the people here, for some reason, seem quite pleased to see you when you walk around. You get lots of people coming up saying hello. For some reason, they call you sir. Complete strangers walk up, hello, sir. I think I know why it is, and I don't like it. So I try to encourage them not to do it, because they don't know me from Adam, so why are they calling me sir? And they do a little salute to you and everything, so I always do it back, because I like to try and be polite to people. I don't want to get used to that. And if I was to do another 3 years, that is it. It's not like a carrying on in perpetuation where you're just doing that forever. So how much damage will that do to you at the end of 6 years living like that, going back to the grey UK, where, quite rightly, no one gives a damn who you are. You're walking down the street and they might not even get out your way. They might be quite rude to you. Which generally you're not going to get here. You get the odd person saying something, but you're going to get that in any group of society of people, aren't you? So I've said no, partly for that, partly because I want to retire. I just don't think it's safe. I think it's a dangerous path to walk, to start saying this is for me, this is forever. So instead of offering me the full 3 years, they've offered me another 3 months, which is just 12 weeks, which they said would probably turn into 6 months. And I've turned that down as well. And they were shocked. The woman was, the manager that offered it to me was stunned. And she said, well, why? Why would you turn that down? It's only 6 months. The money's pretty good. Why would you turn that down? And it got me thinking afterwards. I think, because, I mean, as you know, I've told you before, I've got ADHD. And I don't know if an element of it is connected to that, because when I look at it, what I actually said to the woman when I said no, I immediately said, no, I'm going to retire. I'm retiring, I'm going off to South America. And she was like, oh, you lucky thing, that's lucky, aren't you? And I thought, I've got nothing to lose here. So I said, I'll be honest with you, I'm really surprised you're offering it to me. And she said, why? And I said, because I've always felt less than the rest of the people that work here. I don't come from this environment. I don't fit in. I never have fitted in most places I go. I said, so I'm really surprised you're offering it to me in the first place. And she was stunned. She was absolutely stunned. She was like, no, you're doing a good job. Your work's as good as anybody else's. Well, why would we not offer it to you? And I felt a bit ridiculous then. I was like, oh, I don't know. I just sort of, I've always felt that all the time at my desk. I just think, oh, everyone's doing this better than me. Everyone's getting on better than I am. And looking at it, I think I've done that all my life. Like even in a sense where, in a fantasy realm, like, when I was younger, I used to play video games on like the PlayStation and stuff like that. And I remember the PlayStation Network did this weird thing where there was a glitch. I can't remember what it was, but there was a glitch a few years ago. And I think they accidentally gave out loads of people's details online or something. It didn't affect me. I didn't really have anything on there. But as an apology, they said that you could go on the game Grand Theft Auto. I'm probably getting this wrong, but they said you can go on there and have all this like money on the game, and you could buy like all these different cars and apartments, and you could do all this thing. And I remember I had all these free upgrades on the game. I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to buy anything too good. I don't want to buy too. They don't even bloody exist. And I've always done this in gaming. When I don't play them anymore. But I'd always do that. If I had a chance to upgrade something to get like a better weapon or a better suit of armour or something, I wouldn't do it too much. I'd always think, oh no, don't go mad. You don't deserve that. And I've always had this weird thing where I don't think I'm as worthy as other people of things or life or anything really. I always feel like a low self-worth sense. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it comes from ADHD. I don't know if it's because there's like I saw a thing a little while ago, a diagram, the ADHD iceberg. And it really hit with me. And it was like at the top, there's like, confidence and looking like you're getting along and doing your job, turning up on time. And that's just like such a tiny part of it. And underneath, there's like imposter syndrome and just this nagging feeling of I'm in trouble all the time, and this clawing feeling of I'm going to get found out here. And it's been massive here because it's like you're overseas, you're in a job that you're not qualified to do. I don't think I'm really particularly skilled at, although it's turned out I've been fine, I've done it, my work's been fine. And having this constant claw at you, where it's like, you're not the same as the others. Like, look, be honest, you're not the same. You're not, come on, they're going to find you out in a minute, so enjoy it while it lasts, because any minute now. And that's been life. That's just been school. That's been every job I've ever had. You're like, they're going to find you out in a minute. So, and I think that's why I've always said, no, don't go too far. Don't go mad now. Have a little taste, but don't go too far. So there's a sense of where I've been offered this, the 3 years and then the 3 months, and I've turned it down. Now, fair enough, I'm retiring, going travelling, so I've got something to look forward to. But then still there's that nagging thing of, yeah, but are you doing that because you think you're not good enough to have it? Which I've admitted, I do that. So all I'm trying to say is, if you're like this, if you've got ADHD, I don't know the answer to it. I truly don't, because obviously I'm victim of it. But do have a good look at yourself when things are coming up and things are going along in the world, when your boat's bobbing along the river and occasionally hitting the banks. Do have a look about. And I'm always saying this to people. I'm great at giving people advice, but terrible with myself. So hopefully this will land with someone. Do be kinder to yourself, because I'm certainly my own worst enemy with things. And the opportunities I look at, I'm 52, and I look back at some of the opportunities I've had when I was younger, and I turned them down flat, absolutely flat. And I look back now and I think, you could have done that. You definitely had the skill to do that. You definitely had the ability to do that, but you turned it down flat and made a joke of it, made a whole wacky joke out of it. And secretly and deep down, it's because I knew I wasn't worthy of doing it. But of course I was wrong. I was totally wrong. Quite often when I saw the next person that actually did it, I think, oh, actually, he's no better than me, or she's no better than me. I could have done that. And I didn't. I don't regret it, but I do acknowledge that I could have done it. And I think, yeah, that was a silly thing to have done. So don't do it out there. If you've got ADHD and things are coming your way, just give them a go. If you're younger, or whatever age you are, if you've got ADHD, it's only because I've been diagnosed later that I'm able to put it together. Otherwise, I think I'd have just gone through life thinking, you just lack confidence. And I do, but it's kind of, I hate having it and I hate the diagnosis. But on the other hand, I like it because it answers things for me. But then again, my nan often used to say things like, ADHD didn't exist when she was alive, but she'd talk about things like dyslexia and things like that. And she'd say, you have to wonder sometimes, even if they didn't have that, are they just a bit thick? And she was aiming that at me. And I do often think that sometimes. I think, let's be honest, you're not the brightest of people in the world either. But that aside, I have turned down opportunities over the years that I shouldn't have. I could have really, at least had a bit of fun with it, but just turned it down flat. So don't do that. Don't do that. Take opportunities, take things as they come, which is what I feel like I'm doing now. As this has come along and I've got the opportunity to retire and I've got enough. And I think it's a skill to recognise when enough is enough. And I've sat and worked that out, literally with a pen and paper, how much is enough for me to stop working and retire on and bail out of the system that I don't want any part of. I don't want to contribute to it. I don't want to pay to be in it. I want out. So I'm gone. There is a sense of achievement at the end, but it's been a really bumpy ride. And it's probably been the same for most of you out there. I'm just sort of throwing this out there, really. So, back to work tomorrow. Got another 6 months of it to do. Then 6 months in the UK. And then I'm off to South America. And as I always say, I'll take you along with me. We'll have a look around. But be kind to yourself, please. It's really knocked it to me this week that being offered that and then just being honest and saying, well, I didn't think you'd offer it to me, and then being shocked, it's really brought it home to me. I think, you're no worse than anybody else. Better than anybody else, but you're certainly no worse. So, if you are doing that, don't do that. Try to be kinder to yourself. Give yourself a break. Give yourself as much opportunity and chances as possibly other people aren't giving you. At least give yourself a fighting chance out there. So, I'm going to wrap it up now. I'm going to call it quits. As always, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Don't know where we'll go next week. We won't be indoors next week. We'll go out and about despite the sweltering heat out there. We'll go out and have a wander about in India. And until next week, thank you for joining me. Look after yourself, be kind to yourself, seize the day. Horrible thing to say. But seize the opportunities as they come and be good to yourself. And until next week, thanks as always and walk tall.